Hi everyone, let's talk about Honshu. And I really, really like this game. I kind of liked the idea of it before I got it. We'd played the Hanging Gardens, which it has a similar way of placing cards kind of on top of each other, underneath each other to make these nice patterns. We'd played that a little bit online. I think it's on Yukata, and never had it properly. So to actually get this and have the physical element of tucking these things underneath it, it makes it a lot easier to think about. Although it's still, for me anyway, I really like the the it's a very simple decision of just pick a number and pick a card. What do you want from the card? But the kind of seemingly infinite possibilities of where you can place these cards to earn decent points from all of them, but you need to maximize particular things. It's like most games, you can't go for everything and expect to win. You kind of need to specialize in certain things and go for that and know what you're going for, because if you just kind of not really bothered about the number that you're putting down and just grabbing whatever, then you're probably not going to do that well in it. The variant for 2 players works really nicely as well. That you're still doing the trick taking up to a point of who can play the highest card. So you've still got that decision between the things that are nicer on these lower numbered cards, but I really need to have the choice this round because there's something okay in the pair that's just come from the deck, so I'm going to play the higher card. And I went into it a little bit in the playthrough. So the thing for a game with more than 2 players is it's just a trick taking thing of everybody plays one card, and then in order of from highest to lowest of the number that you played, that is the new player order, and you get to pick the card. So that creates an interesting dynamic of whoever desperately wanted the first pick for this particular round, next round they're going to play first. And it's not simultaneous like in the 2-player game. The first player plays the card out, they play the card that they're playing, and so you can see what is on there and you can see the number that they've played. So you can decide what is going to go on to play higher or lower from them. So there's mind games involved there, and there's the trade-off of you want the choice this round because you're going to have to declare first next round as well. So that is a completely different thing, and I've played it both ways. I've played it as a 4-player game once, and really like the way it worked there. But I really do like this 2-player variant. I think it works really well. And that the other thing I was going to say, in the more than 2-player, the 3 to 5 player game, you can play a resource with your card to add, I think it's 50 to the number, or is it 60? It adds to the number. It basically means that unless anybody else plays a resource, you're going to be the winner. And if anybody else wants to play a resource to add 60 to their card, it has to be the same colour. So that could be a whole new dimension of, well, I really want this card and I'm going to play a resource. I don't care about any of my resources, but I know that you've got a grey cube and you've got a factory that's worth 4 points for that grey cube, and it's the second to last round of the game, so now I'm going to put a grey on it. So if you want first pick and you want this card you desperately need, you're going to have to give up the grey cube that's earning you all of those points. And I haven't got the bonus scoring cards to hand at the moment, but there are ones that make particular factories more powerful and change up how the game works. This one we hadn't played with in a normal game before. The 2x2 fallows are worth 5 points. That's a whole new thing, because normally fallows are just kind of in your way, just things you want to cover up. They're worth no points. So usually they're just kind of a nice freebie that I want to cover that up, I don't really care. But in this, you want to make huge areas of them, because that's a lot of points for 5 points just for having something that's worth nothing. But I suppose then again, you could be losing out on too much doing that, because if you have the card that's got 2 forests and 2 cities on it, if that's connected to your biggest city, that card's worth 6 points. So rather than making up these 2x2 squares, there can be other ways of getting those points. You don't have to devote yourself to the particular optional thing that's come out in this game. So you can pay the resource. That's where I was. Yeah, in the 2-player game, the the thing is still there of you can pay 2 resources. If you didn't play the highest card, you can give up 2 resources to be able to take the pick as if you did play the highest card, and that's an even bigger trade-off, which is good in the 2-player game because you really need to make sure that that's worth it for you. Like, who knows, maybe the time Marty did it, I thought maybe he'd spent too much, but he ended up winning by, just a few points. So maybe it was vital to his strategy doing that. It's, a lot to give up those cubes, but then if you've given them up to get something that you desperately needed, you know what you need now. You've got a little mission for the next couple of rounds, so you know when something comes out that you desperately need to go for, so play those numbers, or make sure that you're playing something useless so that the other person is going to leave that card behind. But yeah, I think there is a ton of depth to this tiny game. The placement in the map after you've picked all of your cards just adds even more possibilities and even more thought, and you can I can anyway kind of get lost in where to place these things because there are so many opportunities, and you think, well, if it was here it could expand into this, if it was here I'm going to really have to go into this. It's kind of in the beginning it doesn't really matter where you put stuff because you're kind of laying the groundwork for what's going to come out later on, and then based on the cards that do come out and where you've placed everything, it's going to restrict where your strategy goes in the future. And I really like that you kind of guide yourself. Like I went for huge cities, Marty went for lakes, which are huge point scoring opportunities, but kind of hard to work out the logistics since you can't cover any of them up in the future. Really, really like it. I will say that it's in those experiences where I've played it 4-player, and I've played it with Rachel I think 3 times now, 2-player. I think so far the people I've played with haven't really been bothered about it. So that might be something to bear in mind. They've kind of been, that was a nice game, kind of washed over them. But I really enjoyed it. I was really engaged with it and really liked, both parts of it, from the trick taking, the high, play the high card, to the really interesting placement of the map, tucking everything under. If I can just overlap this one thing, then I can make this perfect combo work. I really, really enjoyed it, and that is Honshu. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye.